Welcome to UCLan, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Matt Dickinson. I am course leader for computer-aided engineering on the B-Eng, the M-Eng and the degree apprenticeship. I'm also course leader for the degree apprenticeship in mechatronics engineering. I'm at the university. I teach simulation, so my specialisms are in ANSYS, COMSOL, MATLAB, and I also can use SolidWorks simulation for dynamics and also for FEA analysis and the design modeler. So it just gives you an idea of what my skill set sits at. What I wanted to do is give you a quick introduction and give you an overview as to everything for the plan of this year. Some of you who are from UCLan, you'll know this already, but what we have done predominantly for the past 10 years is we've focused on using SolidWorks as a tool. Now, the reason that we focus on SolidWorks is the most used three-dimensional software in industry. It is the most employable software skill to learn. Granted, I do know that that we do have people from different industries, and you will claim to Creo or to CAD, things like that, which I do respect. But the most employable software skill out there is actually SolidWorks. It is the most highly used between all different softwares. So what we've done over the years is focus on using SolidWorks. Now what I'm proposing this year is a slight change. What we're going to do this year is we are going to use surfacing. Our predominant main focus will be surfacing. To give you an insight to assignments on this, you must complete a surface model on anything that you choose. Well, I mean, I'm going to give you some topics. Just to prep anybody who's unsure, the assignment from last year in comparison to this year is totally different. So you're welcome to do last year's assignment, but I will fail you for it. The one thing you should keep in mind about myself is I do run a tight ship on making sure that you produce to the best of your ability. I will not settle on just giving it 40%. If you are really held up on just achieving the smallest and the basics, that is fine. But if you do want to learn more, and if you do want to grow your abilities actually in designing, in the use of complex surfacing, then I am more than happy to help you in that process. Now, the thing that I'm proposing is a change this year. Now, I'm only going to run this. I think I'm going to run this for 2 months, a month, to see how well this is received. If this is received, we're going to stay with it. Rather than just running SolidWorks for surface modeling. So this is an example of what we will do. Rather than running SolidWorks as just our predominant tool, we're actually going to jump in between. So we're going to run SolidWorks, and we're also going to run Inventor. Inventor is Autodesk product, and you're going to listen to a lot of opinions from friends, even opinions from some staff who say, I prefer this, I prefer that. What I want you to be able to do is to decide exactly what you prefer, because this is going to shape you as a very competent engineer, a very competent designer, to prioritize the drawing. Everybody always thinks it's about the model. It is not about the model. You have a good drawing, the whole model will just fall into place. This whole module is purely about focusing on these aspects. So again, what we're going to do, wow, I've got so many old now, I'm losing stuff. What we're going to do is I'm going to let you decide. You decide which way you want to go. You decide exactly what software you think is a priority. So we're going to run between both. Also, for anybody who's thinking, oh hell, so what if I go down one road, I don't like it, have I gone too far? I'm going to record all these sessions. You can go backwards if you wish. If you're really, really into CAD like I was as a student, you might want to do both. But this allows you to decide, for you to decide your career, for you to decide how your designs are going to be completed in the future. Again though, I will be recording these, I will be uploading these. I actually run what they call a hidden YouTube channel, and I use URLs for you to connect onto them, so you can connect to them, you can check them, you can do whatever you want with them. And what I'll do is I'm going to bridge both sessions together, so you're going to have part 1, which will be SolidWorks, part 2, which will be Inventor. Now, if you're worried about your groups, now I still think this is a little bit daft, to be honest. The thing is, with COVID hitting the way it did and putting us into this scenario the way it has, it's a huge pain in the arse for all of us. However, we're in this now and we have no real choice about how about our freedom of movement, let's say. So what I'm saying is, let's reap the benefits of it. Let's use the online delivery to our benefit. So what we're going to do is not focus on a CAD software. I'm going to let you decide what you prefer as a CAD software. Then when you're ready for assignment, you give me the best surface model that you got. If not, then it's fine. I'll see you next year. Very dark. And what I'm really going to be focusing on is, rather than just the software, I'm going to be looking at tool interfacing. How are these tools laid out? What's the difference? Which one does it better, or which one doesn't do it better? Because the truth of it is, these two are very, very similar, but we are going to hit a few stumbling blocks between both softwares where you go, no, SolidWorks is well rubbish, or no, Inventor's awful. And they're the blocks that I'm interested in. My mentor once told me that there's no point knowing what you could do with something, you're best knowing the limitations of something. If you know the limitations of something, you know how far you can push it before you'll break it. And that is my aim. We're going to look at it, we're going to study it, we're going to take it in bits, and we're going to do some awesome CAD in that particular process. Now, you'll notice that you've been added to Teams. I added you to Teams just because Blackboard's good, and there is a Blackboard space. All the notes will be available on Blackboard, but Teams just feels that little bit more interchangeable. I won't be using Teams for my predominant platform for teaching. I personally, I don't like Teams as a teaching platform, but there's some members of staff who can definitely 100% prove me wrong, because some of the work that they've done is phenomenal, what they've done on there. What I normally do is I use Adobe Connect. Now this is a system that the university's already got licensed to. For you to access it, all you do is you download the software. On induction week, well, on the first week of CAD, we will be making sure that all connections are set up, all connections are ready to go, and making sure that everything is just ticking over nicely. We'll be doing some exercises. Now, the exercise we're going to be doing, I do them in particular because they're awful. The drawings are bad. It's difficult to understand what's going on. And it's about you pushing the boundary and saying, if I don't know what that is, how can I get that from somewhere else? Because when you hit industry, if you are going to go into design, if you are going to chase the concept design, you're going to be in that position. You're not going to have all the dimensions. You're going to have to try and fill in the blanks and make it work. That is purely what semester 1 is all about. Right. As far as the CAD software goes, so SolidWorks 2020. A few of you emailed me, are you going to get the software? You are going to get a key. If you're worried about your laptop or a PC not being able to host the actual software, because it is quite graphically demanding, totally get that. If you're worried about that, do not worry too much, because we now have a system called Horizon. This is NVIDIA's online server. We'll be using NVIDIA's online server to support all of you who don't have that computational tool to your advantage. So what that allows you to do is have the cloud computing with SolidWorks on it. if you want Autodesk Inventor, now Autodesk are phenomenal for stuff like this. Whoops, let me just get rid of that. Autodesk are phenomenal for stuff like this. What they will do is they will give you their software for free. So go on autodesk.com, educational. Let me just get rid of that for 1 second. Keeps messaging me. Go on to Autodesk Educational, get started, get logged in, and they will give you the software for free. It is great for stuff like that. So please keep that in mind. The other thing is I will be attaching a URL to Adobe Connect, to Teams, and when you get that URL, your Adobe Connect will look like this. Well, when you log on, it will look like this. So come on. 2 minutes. When you log on, you'll get an interface that looks like this. Now with it, you'll see communal chats, you'll see screen sharing. What I tend to do is share my screen, open the discussion. Now, because I have 2 screens running, the recorded screen does not have the chats on it. On each recording, I will always remind you the chats are not on the recording. If somebody asks, because you can feel awkward, you can feel nervous about asking a question, this allows for you to fire as many questions as you want without worrying about somebody throwing a comment or anything at you. If you do ask a real golden question, I do normally ask that I can read it out. It's because it is information that everybody else also needs to know and would be a benefit for everybody else also need to know. The other thing I should tell you, on here, you don't have as much rights. I can unmute you and we can open discussion. My God. I can unmute you and we can open discussion. But you do not have the right, and also if there is any difficulties, I can also kick people out of the room for that reason. So it's just something to keep in mind, and it's also just a little bit better. I prefer it, it's a bit more solid, and it's just all out nicer in my own experience. So I prefer this. So this is what we'll be using. The URL, as I said, I will put on Teams, and you guys can install that software on your own PC. Without going into too much detail, let me just say welcome back. We are on MP3604. This is Advanced CAD. My name's Matt Dickinson, and let's have an awesome year of CAD. Speak to you all soon.